Hello, my name is Todd Smith. I am with the Florida International University Master of Science in Management Information Systems program. This is cohort number 23, and the course is ISM6222 Telecommunication Networks. This is the video project. In this presentation, I will install, demonstrate, and review a set of network management tools from a company called Radmin Remote Control Software. The two primary components of this software are going to be the Radmin Viewer and Server, as well as their product called Advanced IP Scanner. And in this presentation and demonstration, I will show you how to download, install each component, and how they work interactively. So if everybody will join me, we will proceed to the computer screen. We will open up Internet Explorer or your favorite browser and go to www.radmin.com, and you'll see that on the screen. So if we open our Internet Explorer or favorite browser, and we want to make sure to go to the Radmin homepage, we type in www.radmin.com. We will see the Radmin homepage with all of their various products. The two that we want to focus on are Radmin 3.4 and Advanced IP Scanner. The reason we want to focus on both of these is because let me go back and show you Radmin 3.4. The remote control software of Radmin 3.4 requires and includes two components. If we click download, which we will not do on this computer, you'll notice that it actually includes Radmin Viewer, and Radmin Server. Just to make sure the terminology is not confusing, it is a little unorthodox, but the Radmin Viewer is the software that will install on the administrator's PC. The Radmin Server is the software that will be installed on the client PCs out in the field or out in the offices for the small medium business. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and first install the software on this as the administrator's computer, and I'm going to install Advanced IP Scanner 2.0, which includes the Radmin Viewer that we just mentioned earlier. So I'll let this download to the desktop. And once we've done with that installation, we can close down Internet Explorer and go to IP Scan, install the software, select the default location, and install. At this point, the installation of Advanced IP Scanner is complete, and we can move on to the installation of the remote software. So here on a remote laptop, we are going to need to download the client software, which is actually known in this company as Radmin Server. So we click on Radmin, go over to the right, and you'll notice there's the free download. You may have noticed that on the initial home page, they also have an option for a rapid deployment. We won't go into that. That's more for larger scale enterprises. So as soon as we start the download, save it to the desktop, and we're done. We'll just extract all to a local folder on the desktop. So now we have the Radmin folder. You'll notice they have a README file, rserv34, and rview34. Since this is a client computer, we will be installing rserv34. This is the software that actually allows the administrator to connect to this computer with remote control capabilities. So now let's go into the client version of Radmin 34, which is the Radmin Server. And first we start off with the settings. Startup mode. Automatic means that the Radmin Server applet will run in the background every time Windows is started. Options. We have options for the default port. As mentioned previous to this, you'll notice that the default port 4899 and port 4899 is used for both the Radmin Server as well as the Radmin Viewer that we will see on the other system. And ask user permission. We're not going to ask user permission. What we are going to do, leave all of these as default. Permissions is where it's important. Radmin security permissions. We want to add a user. You'll notice I've already added Todd. Before you can gain remote control of any of these servers that are indeed the client desktops or laptops, you must program the Radmin users at the client level in order to allow somebody to come in and use this. This is a security feature that doesn't allow anybody to randomly come in and take control of a computer if they gain access to the administrator's computer. Excellent. So we are done with this computer from this point of view for the moment, and now let's switch over to the actual primary network administrator's console that we will be using to work with this computer remotely. So now we are back at the network administrator's workstation. We'll open up Advanced IP Scanner, which contains the Radmin viewer so that we can remotely control and monitor PCs throughout the network. We open this up, we notice, first of all, it's a very simple interface. You'll notice the line that I've highlighted here is a range of IP addresses. Very important to make sure you put in the range of IP addresses that only correspond to the range that you want to scan. There are also two buttons up here that allow you to scan the actual subnet of this machine or the Class C range. So we're going to pick the range that I've predetermined that's for my two routers, which is 192.168.10.1 through 254, and we'll click Scan. It's very quick port scanner to find the basics of all of the devices that are on the network. While this is completing its scan, I'll open up a window. This is going to show one of the routers and the other router that is on the network. The first router that we see here, 10.1, is actually this TrendNet router that is acting as the entire DHCP server for the network, and you can see the listing of the DHCP addresses that it has doled out. Now, the ones that are not currently active on the network, such as 192.168.10.111, do not show up on this scan because those are no longer active on the network. Only two PCs show up, but if you correlate the information here, 192.168.10.104 and 109 and 110 are all actually DirecTV receivers that run a proprietary application which will not be picked up by this. The first two are indeed the two routers, and as you'll see, the first one has the DHCP server, the second one is simply FTP capability because the DHCP has been disabled. As we go down, let's take a look at this current PC. This is the network administrator PC that I'm currently using, and this PC is the laptop that we previously installed the Radmin server software on. So let me give you first a demonstration of the ability to actually remote control any of the computers that have been set up to do so. You simply click full control. Notice that the port number 4899 matches the port number from the installation previously. Now, the major downside to this software from my exploration and demonstration, first and foremost, would be the fact that each of these unique devices, such as the DirecTV receivers that you can see match up between 104 here and 104 here, there is no capacity to give them their unique name. Also, any device such as the Vonage device or a cellular phone, there is no naming that would correlate to the MAC address, and I think that would be a valuable feature for this product to have, especially with wireless networks and even in small, medium-sized businesses. The ability to determine the friendly ID of a device that is familiar with the network administrator should be important. The other issue, it's very much just like a Citrix-based software. I have to put in the name and password that'll match what we installed on the client computer, and we get a very clean full screenshot, full control of the other computer. So for example, if the client was away from his desk and needed to update their iTunes, then we would be able to do this remotely. We install these two items, and it begins the download. So full control of any remote computer is easily done by this. The technology they use is actually a video driver sharing that's installed on the client laptop. So while this happens, you get the general idea of the ability to monitor and update and perform any administrative tasks from a network administrator standpoint on the remote computer. Let's take a look at some of the options that we can do here. We want to add these two PCs to favorites. We don't want to worry about the DirecTV devices. We don't want to worry about this 112, which happens to be a Vonage device, again, proprietary software. So here's a good example. Let's go to the client laptop. And let's make sure that the system is up to date. We're going to use standard Windows updating. Just make sure that it has all the available updates. And then we want to either shut down or restart the machine. Well, here's one of the options. We can actually shut the machine down, literally as if we were sitting there in front of the machine. However, instead of having to go into full control, we can actually do a shutdown of the machine from the menu here. And you'll notice the options we have. Do we want to restart the remote computer? Do we want to shut it down? Or do we want to switch it off? So let's restart the computer. At this point, if we gain full control, we will see that we will have very little bit of control here, because as the drivers are shutting down, the console will immediately disappear. So again, we go into the favorites. We see that any PC that's on the network that we want to manage, we can group together. Any erroneous devices as well, we can also add to favorites. Now, the major downside to this software from my exploration and demonstration, first and foremost, would be the fact that each of these unique devices, such as the DirecTV receivers that you can see match up between 104 here and 104 here, there is no capacity to give them their unique name. Also, any device such as the Vonage device or a cellular phone, there is no naming that would correlate to the MAC address, and I think that would be a valuable feature for this product to have, especially with wireless networks and even in small, medium-sized businesses. The ability to determine the friendly ID of a device that is familiar with the network administrator should be important. So this concludes the demonstration of Radmin Server, Radmin Viewer, and Advanced IP Scanner software from Radmin Remote Control Software. Overall, a very nice, helpful package. Not overly robust, but it is very helpful to allow the network manager for a small to medium-sized company, either on-site or to remotely manage their desktop PCs. However, I did mention in the demonstration, the major drawbacks are the inability to work with proprietary components such as the DirecTV receivers that we saw, or cellular phones, or anything that is not typically a standard router or desktop computer, and the inability for those devices to have a friendly name would be easy to incorporate based on the unique MAC address of each device. If that functionality were added to this software, I would more highly recommend it. However, the usability of it is going to find a niche in small and medium businesses. I hope you've learned something from this demonstration today, and I look forward to any feedback that you might have. Thank you very much, and have a good day.